Hello everyone, how's it going? This is the Bald Metal Nerd coming at you with another video. Now my last video was not super upbeat, but definitely more upbeat than what this one's gonna be. I was basically talking about personally what's happened to me over the last week of unemployment. But this one, I'm gonna be a little more fucking pissed off because truthfully, these things really make me mad about the greatest country on earth, the United States. Yeah, people who spout that nonsense. Ugh. We used to be the greatest, but we have not been for a very, very long time, as my current situation proves. Uh, as you guys know, I've recently got fired from my job, and right now, part of the issue is one of my major worries is I don't have health insurance at all right now. I have nothing like that. I got today in the mail from my lovely ex-employer, I got the wonderful option to continue coverage under COBRA. You guys want to guess how much that is a month? Think yeah, because before I always complained about how much I paid for really actually fairly poor health insurance with my former employer. I paid almost $900 a month. Peanuts compared to what the COBRA amount is. COBRA amount that I would have to pay if I wanted to continue the same coverage would be $2,300 and some odd dollars a month. $2,300 a month. Yeah, that's likely to fucking happen. You know, I'm unemployed, and that's more than I'm going to get for unemployment per month. So, yes, I'm going to give in excess of 100% of my income for shitty health insurance. That's a winning plan right there. Yeah, that shit's hilarious. I can't believe anybody actually ever uses COBRA. It's insane. $2,300 a month. Right the fuck on that. If this was any other industrialized country, this would not be a concern of mine right now. I would have health care because there'd be some sort of single payer system. But in the lovely land of the free and home of the brave, you know, I don't have it. I'm fucked right now if something happens. You know, it's bad enough to be unemployed because you have all the financial implications of that. You have to, the stress of trying to find a job, or at least a roughly equivalent job to what you had, and all these other things. You know, you're dealing with depression because you've been fired or laid off or whatever. You're not mentally the best shape. And then on top of that, you have to be terrified because, oh shit, I lost my health insurance coverage. What am I going to do now, right? If something happens to me or my family. Terrifying. And it's absolutely ridiculous that I have to go through this. Now, I can always, go to the healthcare.gov and choose one of their frankly terrible health insurance options as well, and that will be fairly costly as well. It'll probably be between $400 and $500 a month, which when you're unemployed is a very large amount of money. And for poor coverage as well, so that's pretty great, right? Yeah, it's an absolute travesty. The whole situation in our country is absolutely a travesty as far as healthcare goes. It is ridiculous. And those who rail against single payer are like, oh, I want to keep my employee healthcare. It's like, why would you want it? If it can be replaced with something better, why the fuck would you want to keep it? Whatever. And if you lose your job, you lose your fucking insurance anyway, you dumb fuck. Or if your employer chooses to go with a different carrier, you lose it. So I don't know why anyone would oppose a single payer system. Basically, what that means is you pay some tax. You do pay more in taxes. Absolutely. Your taxes would go up. But you're not paying health insurance premiums anymore. You're not paying co-payments. You're not paying deductibles. You're not paying all of this. It would net save you money. You would pay less overall and get higher quality care. What a fucking concept that would be. So, you know, absolutely ridiculous. So that's rant number one about my situation. Rant number two has to do with the complete lack of worker protection we have in this country. Now, there is one state that is an exception to this, and surprisingly, of all the states, Montana is the exception to this. I didn't see that one coming. Apparently, in Montana, after you get a job, after some sort of a probationary period, I don't know if it's 90 days or 6 months, it really doesn't matter. After that amount of time, to get fired for an employer, they actually have to have a reason to fire you. Like you have to, fuck up your job and get written up and, blah, 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 right? To actually, get the boot. Whereas in the other 49 states, they are all at-will employment states, which means, what that means for you, my international friends, is it means employers can fire you for any reason or no reason at all, with or without warning. Although that's not, there are a few reasons they can't fire you. They can't fire you because of your race, religion, what other things? Sexual orientation, your gender, age discrimination's illegal. They can't retaliate. They can't fire you for having jury duty or going to vote. But other than that, they can fire you for pretty much anything they fucking feel the urge to fire you for, or nothing. Like in my case, I feel like I really got fired for nothing. Which is a travesty. I'm not saying that organizations shouldn't be able to fire incompetent employees. Of course they should. If someone is showing up late all the time, or they're not doing their job, or whatever, yes, someone should be able to be fired for those reasons. Absolutely. But there should have to be a process for it. It should be like, let's say you violate their like an attendance policy, like you're not coming into work. At first, your supervisor just talks to you about it, and then you have a quote verb, then there's a series of warnings, and you go through however many warnings. If you keep being tardy in a certain amount of time, then you're out the door, for an example, right? I think that's totally fair, but along the process of where you are in that process, if you are that quote problem employee. Whereas at my previous job, I was never written up once. Nothing went into my employee file whatsoever. There were basically only two conversations that I had, but in neither one was I warned or given any indication that my job was in jeopardy. It wasn't like, yeah, you're going to be fired if this can. Nothing like that was ever said to me. Nothing like that. And then just, I was out the door, right? So I think, though, because I still speak to the other person in the IT department, I asked him, are they even looking to replace me yet? And he said, no, I haven't heard a single word about them even replacing you. I look on the job boards every day, and I haven't seen my job advertised. So I'm sure it was partially a cost-cutting measure on their part, but they didn't call it a layoff. Probably partially for legal reasons, in case they change their mind and they decide to refill it. Maybe there's some sort of legal implication, like, well, if it's a layoff, then they have to, call that person back if they want to come back. Or, I don't know. I don't know the legal implications of that, but it doesn't really fucking matter. I was out the door, and that was that. So it's just pathetic that in this country that was legal to do. In my opinion, that should be illegal. There should be a warning process or whatever. Now, I'm not saying layoffs should be illegal either, by the way. If a company needs to cut costs or whatever, and layoffs are necessary. Now, I'm not a fan of doing it in the mere pursuit of corporate profits. I think that's pretty unconscionable. But if a company is in trouble or whatever and needs to, cut some people to survive, I think that is an acceptable tactic as well. So those are basically my opinions on two major problems with this country. And again, I'm going to advocate. Sorry, this is turning into a little bit of a commercial for Bernie Sanders, but he just recently released a speech about 45 minutes long. I will link it below. Basically, where he spells out his vision for this country and what he sees as like an economic bill of rights for the American people. And I am 100% on board with that. And I think he has some absolutely fantastic ideas. And I desperately hope that he becomes the Democratic nominee and ultimately president, because I think he would be probably the most transformational president we would have had since FDR. So fingers crossed, right? Anyway, that's pretty much it. If you like this, you know what to do. If you don't, all that shit. So anyway, that covers it. Thanks so much for watching. Live long and prosper.